Hello, good morning, buddies. This is Pratibha Bojkar, lecturer in English, Giriraj Government College, Nizamabad. So, till yesterday, we were learning about Sir Isaac Newton, and this topic is related to second year students, semester 4th. We learned whatever he has manufactured, the toys which he made in his childhood days, and now he started thinking apart from those things. Now he did not want to think about all those manufacturing of toys, etc., etc. Now his thought was completely different, and the thoughts which he got, he wanted to answer whatever the questions arised in the mind. He thought that he should be able to give the answers to those questions. He should get those answers to the questions what came into their mind. Okay, and now we gonna and in today's class we gonna learn the discoveries which he made after he became a man. Okay, and today's class we're going to conclude this short biography essay written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Okay, dears, so let's begin. I have now finished my anecdotes of Isaac Newton's boyhood. Okay, the story which was related to the person, he has finished about Isaac Newton's boyhood, and now the story would be far too long were I to mention all the splendid discoveries which he made after he came to be a man. What were the impressive discoveries he made after he became a man, and from now onwards I'm gonna speak about those discoveries. He was the first that found out the nature of light. What was the first discovery? Nature of light. For before his day, nobody could tell what the sunshine was composed of. No one told about the sunshine, and he discovered the nature of light, how we could get light on the earth, how the day came. He was the first person to discover, to tell about that nature of light. Okay, no one before Newton could tell what the sunshine was composed of. Right, beta? So let's move to the next slide. You remember, I suppose, the story of an apple falling on his head and thus leading him to discover the force of gravitation, which keeps the heavenly bodies in their courses. Do you know the story? The apple falling on his head? When he was sitting under the apple tree in the garden, and he was in the thoughts, as we said that it was not the boyish thoughts, thinking about the making of small toys, etc., etc. So when he was sitting under the apple tree, an apple fell down on his head, and the thought from there the thought started. When apple when it was dropped, when it fall from the tree, why did it fall onto the ground? Why did not it go into the sky? What was the power which made it fall on the earth, on the ground? By those thoughts, did you understand, beta? By those thoughts, a new topic was discovered, that was gravitational force. Okay, you remember, I suppose, the story of an apple falling on his head and thus leading him to discover the force of gravitation, which keeps the heavenly bodies in their courses. Before this one slide, when he was watching the night view, the stars, he had many questions. Do they have their own world like we have the world? Hmm? What is the distance between Earth and the stars? And how they are staying in their course? What is the power behind that one? So he got the question, and he got the answer for that question now. What was the power which made those what you call stars stay in their courses? Okay, with this gravitational force, the force of gravitation, when apple falling on his head and thus leading him to discover the force of gravitation which keeps the heavenly bodies in their course. When he had once got hold of this idea, he never permitted his mind to rest until he had searched out all the laws by which the planets are guided through the sky. When he got the idea that there is a power, there is a force which is making the apple fall onto the ground, which is holding the planets in their courses, some force is behind, some power is behind it, and that is gravitational force. When when he got that idea, he was not in the rest, and he was in the search of all the laws by which the planets are guided through the sky. What was the power behind that? The stars are shining in the sky and they are there only. What is the power which made them to be in their course? Okay, so he started searching for those all laws. Understood, beta? Did you understand? Let's move to the next slide. This he did as thoroughly as if he had gone up among the stars and tracked them in their orbits. The boy had found out the mechanism of windmill. The man explained to his fellow men the mechanism of universe. And with this he was among the stars, tracked them into their orbits, and the boy who has found the mechanism of windmill and the same boy who became man explained to his fellow men the mechanism of the universe. Mechanism of windmill when he was in boy, when he was child, and mechanism of universe when he became the man. He did not stop there. Understood, beta? This he did as thoroughly as if he had gone up among the stars and tracked them into their orbits. The boy had found out the mechanism of a windmill. The man explained to his fellow men the mechanism of the universe. I feel you have understood. Right, dear? Okay, let's move to the next slide. While making these researches, he was accustomed to spend night after night in a lofty tower, gazing at the heavenly bodies through a telescope. His mind was lifted far above the things of this world. He may be said, indeed, to have spent the greater part of his life in worlds that lie thousands and millions of miles away, for where the thoughts and the heart are, there is our true existence. Okay, so while making these all researches, he was completely spending nights and nights, okay, watching in the tower, lofty tower, gazing through the heavenly bodies through the telescope. His work was only gazing what you call heavenly bodies, and he wanted to know the orbits. His mind was lifted far above the things of this world. He was not in the world now, he was very far. His mind was completely far away to the world, which were very high above the world. He may be said, indeed, to have spent the greater part of his life in worlds that lie thousands and millions of miles away, for where the thoughts and the heart are, there is our true existence. And we can say that he has spent much part of his life, what do we call, much part of life which lies thousands and millions kilometers far away from the world, from the earth, and where your thought and mind only can go. Okay, and he says that there is our true existence. Understood, beta? He used to always spend nights and nights together to watch the heavenly bodies, what the orbital, how they are, what is the power behind that, how they are shining, what made them to be in their courses, what was the power in that way. Means he always used to spend his what do you call, above the earth, which were thousands and millions kilometers far away, where only heart and mind can go, only thoughts and the heart can go. And he says there is our true existence. Understood, beta? Okay, let's move to the next slide. Did you ever hear the story of Newton and his little dog Diamond? There's one more story. One day, when he was 50 years old and had been hard at work more than 20 years studying the theory of light, he went out of his chamber, leaving his little dog asleep before the fire. So, we heard a story, what do we call, about making of windmill, making of toys. Okay. Next, what do we call? We heard the story of Newton, where he was sitting under the apple tree. When apple fell on his head, he started searching the power behind that one, the force behind that one. That was one story. And there is one more story of Newton and his little dog Diamond. Okay, let's know what the story is. One day, when he was 50 years old and had been hard at work more than 20 years studying the theory of light, he went out of his chamber, leaving his little dog asleep before the fire. So, when he was 50 years old, one day he was completely tired with the work because he was behind the theory of light. He was searching for behind. He was searching for the theory of light. So he left his chamber, leaving his little dog asleep before the fire, because his dog was sleeping and there was a fire, means a candle was lit there. And he noticed that the dog was sleeping, so why should I disturb the dog? And he left the chamber and went outside for the rest, for relaxation. So what happened next? Let's see in the next slide. On the table lay a heap of manuscript papers containing all the discoveries which Newton had made during those 20 years. Okay, when his master was gone up, rose little Diamond, jumped upon the table and overthrew the lighted candle. The papers immediately caught fire. When what do we call, Newton left the chamber, there was a lighted candle there, and Diamond means the dog of Newton named Diamond was sleeping there, and he did not want to disturb the dog, and he went away. But there on the table where dog was sleeping, there lay a heap of manuscript papers which he has done research for all the 20 years, for what he had discovered. Those are all what do we call, manuscripts of what he has discovered during all those 20 years. Immediately when his master was gone up, little Diamond rose. It woke, jumped upon the table and overthrew the lighted candle. The papers immediately caught fire. Did you understand, beta? Immediately when the master went out, the little dog Diamond woke up, jumped on the table, threw the lighted candle, and immediately the papers caught fire. The papers were the manuscripts containing all the discoveries which Newton had made during those 20 years. It's a big loss to Newton. Okay, the papers immediately caught fire. Just as the destruction was completed, Newton opened the chamber door and perceived that the labors of 20 years were reduced to the heap of ashes. Immediately, when the destruction was completely over, means the manuscripts were completely caught in the fire. They became into heap. They reduced to the heap of ashes. Then what do you call it? Newton opened the door of the chamber and he noticed that whatever he has discovered, what was the labor of 20 years, they were reduced to the heap of ashes. There stood little Diamond, the author of all the mischief. Understood, beta? So when he opened the chamber door, he noticed, he perceived that the labors of 20 years were reduced to the heap of ashes. Everything was burnt away. And who was the author of the mischief? The little Diamond. Almost any other man would have sentenced the dog to immediate death. Really, it's a fact, because it is a discovery of 20 years, not for 20 minutes or 20 seconds. Any man would have lost his temper and sentenced the dog to immediate death. But what did Newton do? But Newton patted him on the head with his usual kindness, although grief was at his heart. He was feeling very, what do you call, bad about what has happened, because all 20 years of his mehnat uh, became into ashes. It was turned into ashes within no minute, no time, due to the dog, Little Diamond. But he didn't do anything. Other person would have sentenced the dog to death, but he didn't do. He just patted on his head with the usual kindness, how he regularly used to do, because he had much grief in his heart. Although he had much grief in his hand, he was feeling very bad about what it had happened. But also, with his kindness, he patted on the head of the dog. Understood, beta? "Oh, Diamond, Diamond!" exclaimed he. "Thou little knowest the mischief thou hast done." Diamond did not know what happened. He exclaimed. He had some, what do we call, the grief in his heart. But he said, "Oh, Diamond, Diamond, thou little knowest, you don't know what has happened." This incident affected his health and spirits for some time afterwards, but from his conduct towards the little dog, you may judge what was the sweetness of his temper. As I said earlier, he just, by all that grief, if what do we call, the other typed man would have sentenced dog to death, because the mehnat which was he did for 20 years was completely reduced to heap of what do you call, ashes. But he just patted on the head of the dog Diamond and said, you might be mischief, but you don't know what you have done." And this incident affected his health and spirits for some time afterward, but from his conduct towards the little dog, you may judge what was the sweetness of his temper. So the conduct which was towards his little dog, we can learn his temper, we can judge the sweetness of his temper. Right, let's move to the next slide. "Newton lived to be a very old man and acquired great renown, and was made a member of parliament and received the honor of knighthood from the king. But he cared little for earthly fame and honors, and felt no pride in the vastness of his knowledge. All that he had learned only made him feel how little he knew in comparison to what remained to be unknown." Sorry, beta. "Newton lived to be a very old man," he became very old, "and acquired great renown, and was made a member of parliament, received the honor of knighthood from the king. But he did not care to all this fame and honors, earthy fame and honors, and felt no pride in the vastness of his knowledge." He never felt proud that he has much knowledge. He is a person who discovered nature of light, law of what do you call, gravitational force, etc., etc. He just he just feels that he knows very little comparatively what to be remain to be unknown. He says that he has learned very little, he has discovered very little on this earth, and there is very vast area which is unknown to him now, which remained unknown. Did you understand, beta? Newton lived to be very old man, acquired great renown, and he got many what do we call, honors, like he became member of parliament, received honor of knighthood from the king. But he didn't care those earthly fame and honors, and felt no pride for his vastness of knowledge. Never felt proud that I am such a person, I have discovered this and that. All that he had learned only made him feel how little he knew in comparison to what remained to be known. He was made to feel that he knew only little, and he has to learn much which is unknown to him. There's a very big area which is unknown to him on the earth. Understood, beta? Let's move to the next slide. I seemed to myself like a child, observed he, playing on the seashore and picking up here and there a curious shell or a pretty pebble, while the boundless ocean of truth lies undiscovered before me. I felt him like a child, that child playing on the seashore, picking up here and there a curious shell or a pretty pebble, while the boundless ocean of truth lies undiscovered before me. And he feels that, Newton feels that he's like a very small child playing on the seashore, picking up here and there the curious shells or a pretty pebble, where while the boundless ocean of truth lies undiscovered before me. And there's big ocean which is ocean like knowledge which is undiscovered before me. Did you understand, beta? Means whatever he had discovered is very small, very, it means it is very small, smaller inside, and what it is undiscovered is very big like a ocean. Understood, beta? The truth which is undiscovered, boundless ocean of truth lies undiscovered before me. Understood, beta? Did you understand? Let's move to the next slide. At last, in 1727, when he was fourscore and 5 years old, Sir Isaac Newton died, or rather, he ceased to live on earth. At last, in 1727, when he was fourscore, one score is equal to 20, beta. One score is equal to 20 means fourscore means 80, and 5 years old means he was 85 years old when Isaac Newton died. And or rather, he ceased, he himself doesn't want to live on the earth. Okay, we may be permitted to believe that he is still searching out the infinite wisdom and goodness of the Creator as earnestly and with even more success than while his spirit animated a mortal body. He has left a fame behind him which will be endurable as if his name were written in letters of light formed by the stars upon the midnight sky. Do you understand, beta? He has left the earth, but we may be permitted to believe that he is still searching out the infinite wisdom and goodness of the Creator. Means he have left the earth and is in the heaven, and is they still searching about the what do we call wisdom and goodness of the Creator who has created us. Okay, and earnestly with even more success than while his spirit animated a mortal body. He has left a fame behind him which will be endurable, as if his name were written in letters of light formed by the stars upon the midnight sky. The fame what he has left behind, written in letters of light formed by the stars upon the midnight sky. Now, whenever we speak about what do we call, at the age of 85, in the year 1727, he left the world, and still everyone believe that maybe he's still searching something. He left the earth and went to the heaven, and there he's searching the goodness, wisdom, and knowledge of the Creator. How did he create all these things? Okay, and now when we speak about the nature of light, gravitational force, law of motion, we remember Sir Isaac Newton every time. Okay, beta? Is this clear, beta? Did you understand? The small essay, short biographical essay of Sir Isaac Newton written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Okay, thank you, dear. Thank you for listening my class. Okay, thank you, dears. With this, we end this lesson. Sir Isaac Newton. Thank you, dears.